Major fracture detected.
What's up? I tried tried messing a bit with the camera or the setup so that it zooms in a bit. It's quite annoying, but I think I got it working well enough, let's say. Yeah, so when am I going to do Android development? I don't know. Maybe if this app needs to go on an Android machine, at that point, I guess I will be able to use my Kotlin skills and make an app. But first things first. So a buddy of mine, or well, actually a colleague of mine, They gave me this bottle of IPA to taste. That's what we're gonna try today. It's from the local Whitloaf Brewery. And it's got an awesome label, and it's called the Nopal IPA from the Whitloaf Brewery in Brussels. So let's first try out that thing. Ah, by the way, the Discord bot, that thing is how do you call it? It's on my to-do list for sure. But it's more fun if I make it myself. Ooh, it's sweet, and I mean it's sour. It smells delicious. Skål, hè? Actually, this is not bad at all. Okay, I think I need to revisit my opinion that all IPAs are bad IPAs. Because this one tastes really nice. It's not as bitter as I'm used to. Ah yeah, Cord is the best option to create Discord bots. I think I might have already listed that somewhere. So if I go to the Miro board, so a bit to the left. So as you can see, write a Discord bot. It's on there. It's on the focus first thing. So right now we're doing this. Then after that we're doing this and then this, just to make sure that we can go through everything basically for the same flow, so that I can then show you something all the time. Okay, and here write the Discord bot. Oh, there's a note. Ah, use Discord as Kotlin bot library. You even suggested it, so now I should say use Cord instead. Which server is that? The Discord server. Oh, that's because I'm super unpopular, the newbie Cord. And also, I've only recently added the exclamation Discord command so that people can join the server. Alright. Well, here we go. I've updated the comment. There we go. But today, all is in focus of a registered player can actually challenge another player. So we're working on this thing. CI/CD, let's forget about that for now. And what do we have here? I added a scenario test last time. There's an endpoint that was already there. In fact, I didn't know. I already created that. Then there should be an endpoint to actually challenge the selected player. Again, didn't know it was already there. And a command and event to do that actual challenging. This reworked a bit last time. So today we're gonna build this. One UI form to find another player to challenge, and then a form to challenge the selected player. So if you want to do this main thing here, I did make some mockups in Figma, and I remember that you're supposed to be able to click. Maybe let's put it next to this somewhere else. I don't know, here. So this is what the UI looks like, and so normally there should be a nickname here of someone in the leaderboard at least, and now you should be able to click those people. Now once you click them, not interested in that stuff. Is it this thing? I think it's this thing. What will your bot do, or do you want me to give you ideas? So the idea is, I will show it a little bit better. So supposedly you can click, even if you're registered, yeah, blah blah blah, Then you can click a person's name in the leaderboard. And this is the page I want to be building today. And this is where the bot could come in. So if we already have a player's ID of Discord, then the bot would just push them a message saying, hey, you've been challenged by blah 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 to play on here, and then here's the link to the challenge ID, for example. That's the thing I want to create. So it's basically private messaging. Hey Frey, what's up? I'm not sure, but if you missed it or not, but here's the beer that we're drinking today. It's from Brasserie Witloof. I don't know it, but it's like, yeah, it's pretty good. And it's called Nopal IPA. They've got like really cool labels. Look at that. It's nice, huh? Just use a database as a medium. Yeah. But so, again, we'll tackle that when we get there. But this is the resulting page of a successful challenge, let's say. How do you go back? Here. Yeah, so this is basically the page that we're gonna try to make today. This doesn't exist yet, the recent matches, because we don't have match information or whatever. Then there's which type of mode you want to challenge them to. Like if it's just duel, I think we're gonna limit ourselves to just duel for now. And some random description thing like, I don't know, like when do you want to meet up, for example. And then maybe like, no, actually this should be like more of a display of when and what time do you want to meet. Like, what's your suggestion? Yeah, and then some comment with links or whatever, and then a challenge button. And then none of these we won't be able to do. These we should be able to do, but there are no, how do you say, there are no extra tickets for that kind of stuff just yet. But at least we've built a screen. So the minimum thing that should be on there is this, not even their preference, but the game mode, which should be fixed to just duel. So not even that, I guess. We should be able to take it into account already, and it might be smart idea. And then just a date and a time, and then a challenge button. That's it. That's it. Okay. What do we have already? So if you are, maybe I should start my server first. Not sure. Let's do a restarting of that, because it doesn't seem like it was able to find it. So normally my UI, am I even running it still? I don't think I am. Oh, maybe it's running here. Oh yeah, it's running in my local terminal in IntelliJ. That's cool. This is pinned for some reason. I don't know why. Unpin. This can go as well. And then I could have sworn that I pressed the restart button. Guess not. Alright. Here. It's loading. Okay, that's fine. We can already close a bunch of stuff that we are not gonna need. Voila. And we're going to be fully in the UI, I believe. It's likely that we're going to add a new page. Oh. And we'll find out how easy that is going to be in our current setup. It shouldn't be that difficult, in fact. Alright. Enjoy the sun while it's still shining. and thanks for the well wishes. See ya. Right, now it's rebooting. It's rebooting. Okay, so there we go. It should be up and running. I think my keycloak is up and running. Let's do register. Oh man, I don't remember. We've got Mr. Rat, I believe, who has password for... Yeah, nice. They are not known as a registered player, probably because my Docker database refreshed or something. I don't know. Let's call him Mr. Rat. Ah, voilà. I've got 2 people logged in or registered, and they should be in fact redirected after that login, but whatever. So now the first thing I guess we should do is build a page and then make this thing clickable. We're making a battery dashboard. What's a battery dashboard app? Which kind of battery? Like a thing that shows how much percentage you've got and stuff? For maybe for your Android device. Okay. Let us think for a bit. Yeah, I need a new page. So in main, there are now a bunch of pages being imported, I think. Here we go. Yeah, let's check out the imports. Yeah, there is home. And then there should also be a registration. There we go. So these are both pages. I'm not sure if I want to prefix them with like page or something. For now it's fine. But we want to maybe copy this thing just to have a new page. And what are we going to call it? Challenge maybe? Challenge player? Just challenge. Oh, you'll add it. Okay, and then what? It's not module home, it should be module challenge. And then we'll think about this stuff later, probably. Or maybe we can think about it now because we already have like an inkling of what to render here. We don't yet have a way to accept challenges even, so it's impossible to turn in match reports, so we won't have matches of a player. This we won't have either, and this we won't... This we could have, in fact, a list of all your pending challenges. And maybe we should write that in as well. So that should be got fetch pending challenges response. It doesn't exist yet. And it's going to return not a leaderboard, but pending challenges, which is gonna be some kind of type, right? Leaderboard entry, it don't exist. We could do pending challenge maybe. And then we'll say it's got, yeah, some information like that, which I think is gonna come from the backend anyway, like in a text, full text like that, not structured. I don't really know that yet. The battery app is an app that shows you some stats about your battery, such as percentage, current state, if it's charging or not. The voltage, that kind of, that's cool. That's like full integration with your phone then. Nice. Cool. Yeah, so maybe for now, let's just return a string or something, and then if we discover that we want it structured some way, and have the UI decide on that, then this can really just be a list of strings and that's it. Voila. I wonder if you can do that. Just say that pending challenge is a... Yeah, you can. In fact, that's cool. Voila. And then our model is gonna contain, yeah, some pending challenges. Pending challenges. It's gonna contain, I guess, a list of suggested modes. So let's make a type for that maybe, or let's first add it. Challenge mode, which might be game mode. Type alias game mode equals, or no, it should not be an alias. In fact, it should be something like this. And it can be either dual. What was it again? 2v2? Oh, you're not able to do that. 2v2. What else did we have there? Wipeout CTF. Alright. I don't know, to be added, right? Trying to make it look like a modern UI. It's not easy, I guess. I also don't really know what a modern UI is. This, I guess, is not really modern. I mean... here we named this home model, but in fact it's not the homes model. You can just call it model instead. Same for here. Set leaderboard. I don't think we'll need that yet. Ah, right. These are like, I forgot about that. So we might want to add setters for this model. So let's do that in fact. So if we have not set leaderboard, but set pending challenges. New pending challenges for the model, and then it's really just a shortcut. Let's say some small functions that we make to make it easier for us to work with this stuff, and then it's like the other way around, so that we can pipe in the other way, I think. Oof. Take enter Qt5. Yeah, don't know any of that. It's such a different world, I noticed. So here the things are swapped basically, the arguments. Set pending challenges. Voila. And then the empty model, that's gonna eventually take a nothing, but then also what's like the default game type? Maybe it can also be, no, we don't want to select nothing, right? We want them to select at least something. So maybe let's have dual as a default. And then that should compile. And then we've got our update function, which should be got fetch pending challenges response. And then here we're going to handle that fetch pending challenges response. And this should work with not a leaderboard, but then with pending challenges, indeed. So this will be a newly fetched. These are new challenges, maybe. Or maybe let's call them refreshed or something like that. Not like new, that keyword or that name. Refreshed. There we go. And then this should be a string, I think, but we've got a more concrete type. It's a pending challenge, and really it's just a string. So or was it just a regular challenge? I don't remember. Maybe we can make a record type anyway, and then just call it something like, I don't know, text, challenge text, I don't know. And there should not be a maybe in there. It should just be a single thing. And we want to use the string decoder to create this thing. And it should not be mop2, but mop1. Challenge text, I think we call it. Huh? So this becomes a pending challenge. There we go. So now we've got a way to get the pending challenges, of which we don't even have maybe let's do it like this. I think we do want it like this, because otherwise challenges might be like all challenges or something. Not sure. Oh, let's keep it simple maybe. I don't know. Naming is so difficult. Pending challenges. Perform fetch. Let's rename it. No, it's not used in effect. Okay, and then we've got the view, which is the next part. Okay, let's think about this a bit. So it's not view home that we want to show, it's gonna be view challenge, like the entire challenge page. What should that look like? So a row is the breadth of that stuff, right? Or this is like display these things in a row, in rows. I think that's how it goes, right? Leaderboard, recent matches. No, this is a single row. Okay. And I think view challenge. Yeah. Oh, I have to remind myself, if we in our view function here in main, if we add, yeah, so the header remains. That's fine, I guess. Then we've got main content and then a registration button or not. So this just remains there. So our view main content does the redirect. Okay, cool. So that means this exists, and now we just need to render this stuff. So we can get away with one row, I think, where we'll just show the drop down, 2 text fields, a button, and then this pending challenges thing. Unless we already want to put the pending challenges thing below this part. I'm not really sure about that yet. But for now it can go here. It's easy to move it someplace else in the end. Huh? And then the other thing is, do we want to add a filler here? I guess we do. We sort of do the same thing with this, the recent matches thing. Huh? Maybe we can put that there. Don't really know. It's just a fixed thing. Oh. I don't really like putting stuff there when we don't, you know, like get it from somewhere and like actual. Also, they're not quite aligned. I'm just seeing right now. We'll fix that later. It's fair. Anyway, and then also maybe like add some space in between these lines because they're quite close together. Okay, so we'll call it view challenges. No, view challenge. Because we're in the end challenging another player. We don't want to put view recent matches table there. So let's get rid of that. There we go. This is looking like a generic function which we'll need to pull up somewhere at some point. And then we want to show the not leaderboard, we want to show this drop down. So first it's view challenge mode, I think we called it, using the model. Then it's, I guess it's another row with 2 of these in it. I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe not a row, but just a column, right? Because then those 2 things will be displayed in a column. Yeah, let's maybe do that. So view challenge, then it's view date, view comment, view button, something like that. How do we call that? This bundle. Plus also, why are these 3 grouped? They might not need to be semantically grouped, in fact. Huh? Let's go with the generic view challenge detail. Oh yeah. And then it's the view pending challenges table, which we don't have. I don't think we've got any of these yet. Okay, so the view leaderboard table is gonna look the most like, or the challenges in fact is gonna look the most like the actual leaderboard table. So let's try keep that. Then leaderboard model, there should be pending challenges model. Model.leaderboard should not exist. Seems like there's something. It's because this stuff is not compiling, I guess. Okay. Yeah, maybe we can make this a bit simpler, because I think this should just be the model dot challenge mode. I guess it should be the selected challenge mode even. Challenge mode. And let's just do it like this as well. Column. Where we are so filling it on the width, and I don't want padding even. And then I want to render just a drop down. How do you do that? There should be one for that, right? Is there a drop down? Is there a select combo box? Okay, then I don't know if there are any components out there. Maybe it can just be an HTML dot, or is it element? I really forgot about stuff. But in any case, we want to display this. So maybe text or something. Maybe it's an input, no? There we go. Yeah, so now we need to translate this. So or maybe it shouldn't be as text but as label. Select the challenge mode. So that's really a case. Selected challenge mode of, or really it shouldn't be any, it should just be a game mode. Come on. I don't want to add the catch all branch, of course. Maybe it's because it doesn't know yet what kind of oops. So it takes in a game mode and it returns a string. There we go. Wiperu outeru. Voila. That looks better than this table. Yeah, okay. The view challenge detail, let's do that thing next. So that should look like a model, or it gets a model, and it, I guess, is gonna add one, well, one column with 1, 2, 3 elements in it, I guess. So UI.column, hello. Let's also do UI with fill. So then the column will expand, I hope, at least. So this will be expanded from here to the beginning of the page, or the most left side of the page, and then the second part will expand to the most right part of the page. That's how fill should work, or how my knowledge of fill should work. What other stuff? We could do some padding though. Yeah, but that again is for later. Alright, then what? We want to add some boxes. Ah, damn, we need input fields, and I forgot to add input fields in my model, which is not very smart. So here, element, I think. Is it just this? And L requires a list of elements as an argument. So here we go. So that would be the first thing. Okay, so this is the first thing. Let's try to start to add it. We've got the next Wednesday, blah blah blah. Then we've got meet me in Discord at blah blah blah, and then there's a button. Does it exist? Field input. Did we have our own? Ah, we've got a base. Yeah. Which takes in a boolean and a label, and the message is the thing it should return. So let's make a button or use a button, and then we should import that base.button. Yeah, sure. Button, and this requires props, so is disabled false with a capital F, and then a label. What was it? Challenge or something? Yeah, challenge. And then it requires some kind of maybe we could say label, and now it still needs a message, which is something that it should return. So let's do challenge button clicked, I guess, which doesn't exist yet. So let's add that here. Voila. So that stuff's compiling now. Hooray. Now we need another missing branch. What should we do? Absolutely nothing, good sir. I don't want it to work just yet. And then What's wrong with this stuff? View pending challenges table. Oi. So this is still somehow tied to another type of model, I guess. It's kind of weird. It should have this kind of model and it should be outputting, oh, I don't know, this kind of stuff, I think. Okay, that's not the type I need apparently. It's in here, like, so columns. It wants a rank, that's why. I see. Yeah, does not need a rank. Okay, so to do sorting in that, I don't think we even want to do sorting, in fact. Sort by nothing. Is it required? Yeah, maybe just do unsortable column with pending challenge as a title or something, or let's call it pending. It doesn't need a toString. No, it does. But it's not a rank. It's challenge text or something. Christ, I forget. Yeah, challenge text. There was something else that you could do here. Instead of applying a toString, you could just here, identity. So identity, and then I need to supply the value. Value, this thing, and then we fill it, and then we only want a single column. Maybe it should be unsortable string column or something. Let's do this then. And then figure out later how to make it unsortable. We don't even have anything in there. I hope I can just remove this. Fuck. Sort by pending. That's really bad. Okay, let's go to sort table. Maybe we don't need a sort table, but we could just use a regular table or something. Elm UI widgets. Let's look it up again. They do have buttons as well, though. Surprised we're not using them yet. So we are looking for... they have a regular... They only have a sorted table and not a... You can do sort by none. How do you do that? There's also text input. Let's look at that. So I was sort of hoping that there was a way to find more information about this sort table thing. Oh. Maybe it's this one. Yeah, we're just into the UI Explorer. I want to see the API of this thing so that I know how to sort by none. Maybe it's just string, fixed string none or something. Just see if that works. On change don't do anything, seems great. Okay. Let's try to wire it in. Or maybe let's replace these things first with model dot... What was that again? Appointment? Challenge date? I don't know. So let's put something in there always, and then we've got another thing which is like more of like a description or like where to find me kind of thing. Comments, comment. Okay. Now our init is gonna explode, so let's initialize it with empty strings. There we go. And then we should also be able to use... actually, let's put these in there. Model dot comment. Empty model. This thing. And here it should have been the other thing. Okay. Next. Wednesday at 8. Okay. Okay, so now we need to wire this stuff into the routing stuff so that when you visit a new page called the challenge page, then we can hook it up into challenge.view challenge using model, and then that challenge model, which should be a new one, and then the result of this needs to be mapped to challenge messages so that we can set up the forwarding again in the main component. So let's first add a route to the model. Add that as a type. Then that should fix that. Then we've got challenge.view challenge, that's just an import. Model.challenge model doesn't exist yet. So let's go there. Do we want to put it? Yeah, let's do it there. Call it challenge model, and it needs the type of the challenge submodule and use that model. Then we need challenge message. I guess we made aliases for that. Yeah, sort of. Registration home, and then we've got challenge message, which is this kind of type. Great. So the view main content stuff is compiling now. So we've set up routing basically of the view at least. Now we need to do the same for the update part. So if you go to update, stuff's wrong here. Basically what we want to do now is also do registration, and like there's stuff with registration here. We need to do the same for wait, actually let's put it there. Challenge message type. At that point we want a new challenge model to be updated. These will be new challenge messages coming out of that thing, and we're gonna not call home.update but challenge.update. So this is just forwarding from main's update function to challenges update function, and we use not home model but challenge model to forward, which has not been initialized just yet. And when that returns, we want to update the challenge model, which we don't have a setter function for just yet. This will become challenge message. Challenge. All right. So let's create this set challenge model function someplace. Which is where we're getting a model from the challenge module. We're also getting the main model, let's say. So this gets a new challenge model, the regular model, and then I just want to update the current model's challenge model field and set the new challenge model to that thing. There we go. Alright, so that's the view with update. Now there should be some kind of initialization thing going wrong. Voila, empty model. So we have a registration model, or an empty registration model. We also should have a challenge.empty model, I presume. Yeah, voila. And then the rest just works. Here's the same thing with token. I don't think this is quite good. Let's see, we've got, because both of them are returning a model, so they're both array. So let's see, URL key, auth flow, redirect URI. It's almost exactly the same. Here we're using the token, and here we are using nothing. So maybe we should make like a partial constructor here, so that we can then pass the rest of that to both of them. I think this should make it work, voila. But all of this crap is the same, it's just a token that's different. So maybe what we should do is move this just token thing to where it's used. When is this one used? Empty model with token. Maybe it's because I'm not sure you can create a temporary constructor. Test. Yeah, you can. Okay, so then I don't know why. So really this is empty model without token or something. Actually, it should be the other way around. It should be like this, and then this can just become empty model. With URL, key, auth flow, redirect URI, and then nothing. And now we're just doing function calls, but there should be a nicer way for that effect. We did a bad thing. I did a bad thing. So we want to rename this or refactor rename it so every instance of empty model is now using this one, then the empty, this can become empty model. This will add nothing to it, and then we'll replace this by calling empty model with URL key, authflow, redirect URI, and this. And this should get a URL key, authflow, redirect URI. Ah shit, and okay, so we'll still have it here, so this should really just call the full thing. Yeah. Cool. And then this can also become empty model with token URL key, authflow, redirect URI. So not token. Okay. Yeah, that's the reason. Yeah, okay. I think what I can do. Oh, this is difficult stuff. I think what I can do is do this, pipe it into empty model, and then it should be okay. Guess not. What if I do it the other way around? I sort of want to say that, yeah, it should go like that in fact, where I say do nothing and append that to empty model. I can't think of it. There needs to be a way, but I can't. I'm too stupid. I don't want to necessarily define these things. That's what I'm trying to say. Oh, that's... No, still don't get it. Can do the same here, then it'll be more obvious. Yeah, I don't know how to do that, sorry. Where is this used now? Sure. I guess this is fine. It is fine. Ooh, I know. Okay, I think we've wired everything in now. There is just no route, like physical, I mean address route to that thing just yet. Or is there? No. So it's impossible to parse something like challenge to the challenge page. So now there is. And then I think we've got everything. All right, let's try it out. That stuff is compiling, that's nice. And then we'll just do challenge manually. Voila. And we've got a dual thing to select. Something that displays next Wednesday at, something that displays meet me in Discord at, a button, and then a table with nothing in it. Cool. I think I do want to align it to the top though, so I don't know why that's not happening by default. And then maybe let's do a quick lookup. Does this thing have drop downs? Select. Wait. Multi-select? Yeah, I guess it's a select, but then also what is a switch? Okay. Button, no. Dialog, no. Icon, no. Ah, here. Expandable item. That's it. Is this it? This is the thing I need to use? I think it's so confusing. Tell me this is not confusing. That's not what I need, I think. Or it doesn't look like it's the thing that I need. Okay, that's fine. Let's first try to get it to the top, or maybe just add a new commit. It says introduced challenge page. At least we'll have that already then. So in main we don't need to be there anymore. Then let's align it to the top somehow. So the row is aligned to the top. And maybe all of these columns also need to be aligned to the top or something. Top. So that's the challenge mode. And detail, let's say for you. And finally this thing. Let's see what this does. Aha! Excellent. Now maybe we should also add some padding to these things so that it's the same. So the X and Y, I don't really know. I would think that X padding is left and right and not top and bottom, but maybe this thing already has a size or something. So the title of the table already has some kind of setting that has padding. And now we need the same for these. Let's keep the 20 and then maybe add 5 or something to the top and bottom, and we'll do the same to, so that's the table, the detail, and then the mode. I always copy that stuff inconsistently. So sometimes I'll include the comma and sometimes I won't. Well, this is already looking a bit better, but I think it needs to be a little bit higher or a little bit more. Yeah, that's much nicer. Okay, then let's maybe add the same kind of padding to the detail itself. So all of these elements need to have some kind of padding. Let's say 0 left and right because they should always be aligned, and then let's do 5 maybe. And the base button, we don't have, it has its own padding in fact. I guess that's fine. Okay. Let's do add at least some styling. Alright. Now let's make this thing into a drop down. So Elm UI drop down or combo boxes or something. Okay, let's check out what they're wow. Okay, this makes sense. Fast food or regional. I'm missing like an example of what it's looking like now. It's too bad, huh? Oh yeah. Where's part 2? There we go. It just looks weird though. Isn't there like some kind of a normal component that we can use? This seems like not that much of a stretch to just have that. I mean, let's do it again. Elm UI. Oh, not widgets. Alright, and then every single time we'll have to look up which Elm UI we're using because there are multiple. We are using the MD Griffith one, okay. It has a package. Okay, this seems like it's the thing I need. However, it might not be rendered the way I want it to. Or we can look for more. Maybe we can just try it out, see what it looks like. Right. Ah, wait. Okay, let's just try that and just see what happens. We've got a button on enter palette and whatever. Now, for our view challenge mode, I don't think I want to return a UI text, but this is like the drop down that we're going to need. So it's something like view. Oh no, it should be in here. Huh? We could do let in and then radio, or like call it component or whatever. Then we'll do let in, and then let's say component equals this thing. I guess this is also UI.padding. Selected, that's this one. But there is no here on change, choose lunch. It's a bit weird that they... How does that work? Choose lunch. Ah, yeah. So here they render those options and the translation that goes along with it. So for us, that would mean... this is just a constructor of the burrito, of the choose lunch thing, probably. Is there a way? Do they show that somewhere? No. Let's see. Selected maybe option, and this is a type. Okay. Okay, let's do just a constructor of game mode, I think it was. Nee? Yeah, here it is, game mode. And then game mode should be a specific type, so it should be like dual. Let's do oh, whoops. The label, we didn't have any. What does this return? I guess we could just return an empty string then or something. Oh wait, no, I was looking at the specs of a label above. These are options, and label is a label of a message. Okay, so label hidden. It's not happening. It's not. Is it input? Yeah. Okay. And then this is not compiling, but I don't know why. Maybe it's a message type and so that would be game mode chosen. And now yeah. We don't need this anymore, I guess. Okay, so challenge button clicked, now gets a new one where we select the game mode. Then we have to look up some more docs, I think, because here the on change. So choose lunch will get the option with it, so that would be something like that. Okay. So this is getting game mode. So I want to update the game mode that was selected. We don't have that yet. That's on the model. At challenge mode, it should be called, in fact. Okay. This takes in a new game mode, the existing model, and then returns the updated model. Actually selected game mode. model equals, and then we want to update the model by updating the challenge mode to selected. That's it basically. Select the challenge mode. Voila. Now some more stuff is wrong. I don't really understand why. Oh yeah, I need to I need to add the model to change, of course. And we do it the other way around. I forget. No, it's like this. This is not home model anymore here. Just call it model. Save me some refactor work. Is there anything? No, there's no home anywhere. Good. Good. Let's check it out. Well, I mean, it's definitely a radio button. I guess we can sort of come up with our own component that sort of looks like this. Let's see, we've got onload button, checkbox, multi-line placeholder, radio option state. I feel like we could keep it as a radio button, but that also feels like a cop-out. I mean, it's never gonna be a lot of choices, right? It's just always gonna be a couple of them. The moment we're listing, like, I don't know, 20 game modes, I guess that's the point where we should change this into like a drop-down where you select something. But until then, I feel like we can get away with this. Let's see if it works, in fact. So if we drill down, that was the last message, but in our challenge model, the mode is wipeout. Okay, nice. That's good. Okay, challenge doesn't do anything. That's also noise. Dual is standard selected, I think. So if we hard refresh, and then these need to become input fields with placeholders like that, and then a list of pending challenges so that you're more easily able to select a date, let's say. There was also a reason why I made this into simple text boxes instead of yeah, how do you say actual date selection stuff. It's because people, it's an assumption, but people don't really want to plan, or planning an actual game with somebody is like a whole different thing that I don't necessarily want this UI to be good at. it should just how do you say that? It should just facilitate communication, really. So you want to challenge somebody else, just want to say, hey, I suggest next Wednesday at 8, and then meet me in Discord at blah blah blah, and then they can just talk, and then the other party is gonna accept the challenge. But then I don't really know how I'm gonna list this stuff here, pending. I guess people will learn that whatever they put in here is gonna also end up in the pending challenges thing. So maybe we should limit this to like 50 characters or whatever. Okay. Input fields. Wait, no. Introduced radio button. And then I'll grab another beer and see you in a couple of minutes. Deuces! Right. Back in action. School. Nou, de zijn met is een actual cornet. All right, where were we? We just added the radio button. We were gonna make inputs for this, I think. That I don't think we even included in the challenge a player REST API endpoint. Currently it's just 2 IDs. And even the 2 IDs don't make a lot of sense, in fact. But yeah, let's first just make those into inputs. Dial registration. So does the home thing also have an incorrect import? Yeah. Maybe let's do optimized imports for everything here. There's also a new IntelliJ out. However, was it? And now I'm not sure if it worked in fact. So let's do rollback, then select all of these, and then if I do a Control Option O, see, that doesn't work. Damn, that's too bad. Then I'll go in them one by one and then just optimize imports one by one, I guess. As I was trying to say, the updated IntelliJ has some breaking changes, which also breaks the Elm plugin, and I didn't want to, you know, update and then stream and find out that stuff's not working. I don't know, that's like a fire thing probably. Cool. So we're in the challenge page. We've got something to fetch the challenges, which we haven't done yet. A game mode chosen, and then a challenge button clicked, which doesn't do anything yet either. Then our model as the challenge mode, or actually the selected challenge mode. Then the appointment and a comment, and both of these now need input fields so that they can get updated. So let's go to the view part of the detail thing even, and then here we can do, instead of a text, let's do an input. Okay, so it might not be UI then, I guess it's input dot text. This thing takes in what it needs. Okay, hang on. Yeah, so now it's complaining, or Elm is complaining, that the UI.L function takes in attributes and something something, and or an element message, and instead it's getting a constructor, I guess, or something, a function that takes in a record with an onChange text, blah 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 blah. So what we need to do now is add those things. OnChange text, a placeholder label, I guess text should be model.appointment. Label is appointments, or like when or whatever. Then we need placeholder. Can be nothing maybe. Or let's just do just, and then you need a thing for that. Okay, I'm already regretting my change here. Let's copy this and then instead call view appointment input with model.appointment, because that's the thing we're going to be rendering. This is going to become a new function which takes in a string, the appointment. And the placeholder we'll put in here, and it returns whatever this returns. Before it was that kind of stuff. Then let's do let, where we say placeholder is something. I don't know how you can create this thing. Something like that, supposedly. Alright. Should be this thing. Then the text should be model, well actually no longer model.appointment, just like that. Then we'll need some more stuff. Okay. On change. Appointment changed. Needs to be just a message. So appointment changed is gonna take some letters basically every time someone types in it, just like a regular input would work. I think that's it. On change, text, placeholder, and a label. Now we need to just fix this placeholder thing. Don't know which one it is, in fact. And the label is also incorrect. It should be label left or something, and that's on input dot label left. Label let's do label left. I don't know yet. Oh, it's difficult. Let's do hidden. Let's call this thing appointment then. Now it wants attributes. Excuse me. Which one is that? This one. No. Oh yeah. Attributes and then a text even. Ah, wait. Yeah, no. First it needs the attributes and then those things. Okay, whatever. It's not complaining about that at all. Placeholder. I don't know. Why can it not just be a simple text thing? Empty UI.text. So, and then somewhere in our model we've defined next Wednesday at 8. Voila. People will understand what to do. Now we just need an appointment and a message type. Appointment changed with, yeah, it's like a letter, but they pass the complete appointment every single time. So, oh, how do you do that again? Something like this. Now we need a new case. Or updated appointment. And let's add yet another helpful setter. Using the updated appointment on the model. Which is going to give us a string. Updated appointment. And we'll just do like that. Cool. I wonder if you can add a selector to that thing as well. Like instead of doing this, use that. Guess not. That would break a lot of stuff, I guess. So let's immediately make the other one as well for comment. Then we don't have to do that anymore. Comment. So am I? Oh. So if you use Command Shift Backspace, it'll bring you back to your last edited position, but it also takes into account multi-cursor stuff, so it's a bit strange. Let's move to the update function again. So now when appointment changed is fired, so that's whenever someone types into that new input field for appointment, the text should update, in fact. There we go. So when you click at this, on this, let's not do next Wednesday, but maybe I'll do it next Thursday. In fact, there's already, yeah, now you will also see that there have been a bunch of events fired every time I added something or removed something. I think we might want to update the initial model now. So empty model. Let's make this blank. Voila. And then the placeholder does get rendered. So now we can just do next Thursday at 8. I feel like we need to extend that thing a bit, so to do that I think there's just a view appointment input, and this is the stuff of the placeholder which I don't necessarily want to fill, but this UI.width should try to be filled. I think that should be good. Son of a bee. It doesn't. That's weird. Guess this is also gonna need fill. Yay! That looks better, and then we'll do exactly the same with the comment. So view comment input, and we'll replace that with that model.comment. I'll just duplicate this for now. View comment input. It can has a placeholder. We will call this thing comment. And it shouldn't fire the appointment changed, but the comment changed thing. Then let's not make this the placeholder, but something like meet me at Discord, or ping me on Discord with, I don't know, scallop number. Something like that. Okay, we've got comment changed. Bam, same thing. Let's go to the update function. And now instead of appointment change, we've got updated comment, and we want to set the comment. And we're done. Oh yeah, and the empty model forgot to update again. So voila. Here we go. That's also definitely whip. Made appointment and comment fields into inputs. That's noise. What's it look like if I don't zoom in? Yeah. Doesn't look like this at all. Alright, I also need to do something like that. Let's set you up versus nickname you selected. I was just thinking about how I was gonna do that, in fact, because if I want to put some text up here that says like, let's set you up versus nickname, where am I gonna get that nickname from? I know there's at least an endpoint that is able to show me that information. So I could make that call whenever you visit this challenge page, but then I'd still need the ID of the player that I'm challenging. So let's just keep it simple for now. I guess I'm gonna need it anyway to pass along if I click on the challenge button. I don't know. I think that's the next thing we need to do now. Huh? Make it work. Or make sure that whenever you click on this thing that at least there's something entered in both of these. Does that input text thing have a mask of some kind? Perhaps? Input? Oh, you're already here. The button, I don't think we will need, or we're not using that one in fact. So I'm not sure in fact if we're not using that. Checkbox. No, there's no max limit, but we could put that in here. But the component also, how do you know? How do you say that? Like the box around it, for example, the placeholder that it's gray, etc., etc. That's all already been handled by this element input text component. But like, you cannot make it red, for example, because there's no way to, or is there? Because the way I was thinking about it, maybe if your error message or you exceed like some kind of a max limit, that you show that component as red, basically. Okay. Maybe the comment can be this kind of thing. Yeah, I guess it's better to be that it's this kind of thing. Well, how does it differ? You can add a spell check to that. No one cares. So we can just change comment into a multi-line, and that'll be that. So view comment. So instead of text, we'll use multi-line, and then we'll just add a spell check and say that it's false. It's strange. It's not formatted correctly at all. Yeah, something went wrong running Elm format. I don't know what, but I feel like restarting IntelliJ is gonna work or help with that, but I don't really want to. Oh, it auto expands until you press space. Ah, it is limited. Okay, that's good. Okay. Good enough for me. What do we do next? Make these minimum. I guess when you press challenge, they should be checked. And then I think what we can do, like maybe set a color here or something. I don't know. Sure. So if we go to our base component, I'm quite sure that we used input button, background. Ah, we do use input and then a button. Oh, did I completely forget about wrapping? I think I did. Yeah, I think I did, in fact. Oh yeah, I was wondering, why do I need the braces or the parentheses here? But it's because I want to append the shared attributes, but maybe honestly doesn't look better like that. I think I see the problem. Don't think you can do that, can you? Oh, no, you can't. Okay, then what we could still do is write it like this. Then at least we don't need these. I am confused. Yeah, that's also not what I want to do, of course. I guess we'll leave it like it was before. Oh, I've got an idea. So it's a bit tricky. This should work though, right? I know it still won't work because it's really this argument that needs to be in parentheses, so input button recognizes that both of these statements belong together. So yeah, and adding another let in there might be a bit too stupid. Okay, we'll leave it like this then. It just doesn't feel right. Okay. Let's just try this out then, maybe. Because I have no idea what effect it will have on an input text like this one. So let's say our appointment has too many I don't fucking know okay, let's do that. The font I don't really care about. what the color I do. So yeah, I don't know what primary color really is. Okay, voila, it turns blue. That's cool, I guess. Does it turn blue? Not even. That was just when it was highlighted. Oh, yo. Let's add an error color or something. UI.color. So now we need a new error. UI.RGB. Red. Oh my god, that's so cool. Thank you, IntelliJ. I love you. I love you, IntelliJ. Let's get like a more matte red. Let's use this one. There we go. Okay, cool. And then use that. Nothing happens. Oh yeah, that's because it's background color. So background color has no effect, I think. Maybe we can change the font color. So I typed something in there, but it's definitely not taking the unless. Nope. Oh, we need to get this fetching of the leaderboard out of the main. Otherwise, it will keep on doing that. Yeah. I wonder why. There's not a single red color in there. Quite annoying. I mean, it's not like maybe jeez, I don't know. BG. 'Cause even if I use font color for this, it will still turn up white. Nee? Okay. I am so confused. So somehow it's translating red into white, and then this color into black. Please explain. Is it because this is not 255 or something? What does this mean? Should all of them be? What's the difference? Okay, 0 and 1, yeah. Okay, that's gonna make more sense. That was just a mistake, then we never used these other colors probably. Holy shit. And then IntelliJ is giving you the thing, it tries to make it into a sense making thing, but okay, here we go. So I guess we're using primary somewhere? No, PG in contrast. That's probably why. It is the Cordusk himself. What's up, my man? It's been such a long time. Ik school u. Met deze cornet. Ik school u. Happy holidays. Yo. Nice. I just figured out a big mistake with my palettes that I've been using. Because I thought it'd be smart and have like a palette and a contrasted palette or whatever, and then if you switch, I don't know, whatever, it should work, but it's really not working. So that's stupid. But at least I figured out why something is not working yet. So I guess this can be primary, and then this can be error, and then I'm quite sure this text will now be red. Yeah. Okay, so that's the kind of thing I want to do. Oh my, finally. So this needs to be BG for background color. And now everything is coming back with what I was trying to do with that base Elm class. Because if I make a palette and I wrap all of the components of UI in here, then I can make sure that all of them work with these palettes. And that way I don't necessarily need to worry about stuff not rendering properly anymore. Fucking hell. Now I am curious what the main page looks like though. Okay, it's not really that great, is it? You just came from the movies? At the cinema in 5 years, am I? Which one did you see? Pass the palette to the view functions. Yeah, indeed. Well, pass the palette to, or basically just use base buttons that understand how to work with palettes. That's it, really. You almost cried while watching Father. Let's do Father, the movie. Okay. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. This seems like a movie worth watching. A man refuses all assistance from his daughter as he ages. Oh no. As he tries to make sense of his changing circumstances, he begins to doubt his loved ones. Oh no. His own mind. Oh no. And even the fabric of his reality. Damn. It seems like a really interesting plot. One that I would like to watch. Cool. I can imagine you crying with that kind of stuff. Makes sense. Yeah. Ah, yeah, right. So right now we're not logged in. That's why there's no leaderboard there. We should fix that at some point. But we can log in using Mr. Rat's credentials, because he doesn't have very much, how do you say that? Very good credentials, let's say. And then the fetch needs to happen again, I think, because there's something wrong there. Now, oh yeah, right. So at some point, we should be able to click on a person, like Scallop here, and then challenge them. That's what we're doing now. That will make you come or have this page shown to you where you can select which kind of challenge you want to challenge them for. So let's do dual, of course. And then let me actually default that appointment input button thing back to regular colors, or like the standard ones. Voila. And then you just add next Thursday at 8 on the port. And then you just say add me on Discord with blah 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 blah. You click on challenge. The moment you click on challenge, Scallop, I guess it was, will get challenged by Mr. Rat. And then here it should still say, like it says here, like let's set you up versus the person you clicked on, what their preference is, blah blah blah, and then that's it. I was wondering, Cordas, did you ever get combo boxes or drop downs to work? Because neither Elm UI nor, which one was that again? The Elm UI widgets has a drop down. They sort of do with which thing was it? Item or something? Yeah, item has expandable items. But it's more like expand the thing, and then when you click it, it doesn't go up again, and you have not selected it. And maybe that in combination with how you can render radio buttons might work or might be a solution, but yeah, don't know. Doing it, yeah, so doing it, man, but I'm too lazy. I will end up writing a component for it, something that I expect other smarter people to have done for me already, of course. But yeah, that's like the next thing. So my idea was, let's only do that when this list exceeds, I don't know, 10 choices or something. Something like that. Yeah, and then I also need to do selection and stuff, eh? Yeah. It is weird it's not there, man, whatever. Alright, now that we've got our main thing set up again, what to do next? I guess this is about it, I think. So in this commit, we added an error to the palette which you're not in fact using. We should probably clean up some imports there. There's just some. Oh yeah, we made this thing into a multi-line. And that's really the only thing we did. Ah yeah, the biggest important or the most important thing is in base. We fixed the bug in fact. We said, where's the bug? There's no bug thing. Worm. We set fire to the worm. We say fixed palette issue where we weren't using our GP255 everywhere. Derp. Okay, we'll push that. And then the next thing is do the call to. No, wait. Let's first get the person in there. Yeah. Let's first do that. Okay, so we've got our main view function. Let's see, view challenge, the big one. Then we've got some rows. We say align top on blah blah blah. Ah, you know what? Let's add a second row. Or actually, let's make that our second row. So this will become our second row, and the first row is really gonna be. Let's also do with fill. Height. I don't want to fill. I don't think. But I do want it to be aligned to the top. Align top. Yeah, that seems good. And now some elements, and the first element that's gonna be in there is this text thing. Let's set you up versus, I don't know how we're gonna say that. View. Challenge header maybe. We're gonna need our model for that. I mean, if we want to print our challenger or the person that our opponent, possible opponent. The backend for this is already working well, sort of. We did that last week, but I can run you through that in a bit. Hang on, So we want, when we are rendering that UI row, really it should just be a UI dot text thing, but maybe like a header or something. Isn't there something like that? I guess it's text. Where we say, please to render model dot. And now something new, opponent or something. And we want to embed opponent in some other piece of text. So let's set you up versus. Let's set you up versus. Oh yeah, and an opponent doesn't exist just yet. So maybe they'll just pass opponent, in fact. This will be the opponent then. Let's go to the model. And then add an opponent. I think that should be the first thing you need. Oh shit, and maybe we'll need two things in fact. The ID and the name maybe, or maybe just the name will be enough. No, I think I want both. The ID and the, this is a player ID, which doesn't exist yet. In fact, it's an opponent ID, but it should be a player ID. That's fine. And then a nickname, which is a string. Now we've already broken the contract. Nickname. There we go. Or we do the nickname thing here. I wonder. Oh yeah, okay, voilà. Player ID. Well, alias that for a string, I think. It's in fact a UUID, yeah. It's more specific, but it should be good. And now we need to fill this opponent at some point. You got so much to talk about. Yeah, so let's check it out, because I think this is like a good point, because to fill this opponent when we enter this page, so if anyone who just were to just navigate to blah 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 /challenge, they should be able to either end up with a page that says fuck off, I don't know this person that you want to challenge, or you're challenging this person. So we need some kind of a way to tell Elm, or to inform Elm of who we are actually challenging here. And to do that, we've got some stuff in the backend already. Let's check the REST API. There's a players, yeah, here this thing, a player controller. And we've got /info, fuck, but it needs account ref. That's not what we want, in fact. Get player by ID, here we go. Get player by ID, sweet. So, yeah, we've done security now, by the way, yeah, so nothing's easy anymore now. Although our UI doesn't suffer from it, in fact, which I'm really happy with. But what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So there is a way to get information on a player if you know their ID. So really, when we enter this page, we need to know their ID. And we can do that in a couple of ways. Since we're controlling everything via main, you can picture the moment that you click on a person's nickname or whatever, that we associate that ID with the ID to be challenged. So from outside of our UI of the challenge thing, where is it? Here. So from main, we would set something directly on the model of the challenge page. It says like opponent.id, and then maybe this can be not just a string, but because your opponent won't be completely loaded just yet. Yeah. I don't know yet how I'm going to do that, because there's like different states to that page now. I mean, not now, but soon, when I will do the initial load for that page. And then structuring my model like this doesn't really make sense, because my nickname, this one, can be null, and so can this one, in fact. But let's get to that later. So I want to have a different solution. I want to pass the ID to the URI, so that when I go challenge / and then 1234, and 1234 is the ID of CoreDusk, then I know that I want to be challenging CoreDusk. And the UI doesn't necessarily know who you are at this point. I guess it does, but it's more important that the API knows who is trying to send a challenge. And I'll show that as well. Let's do the REST scenario, in fact. The scenario, challenging scenario. So here we've got two players, Scallop and RGM. And Scallop registers themselves, RGM does the same. And then Scallop is registering or challenging RGM. And to do that, you need two IDs. The one from yourself and the one from the player that you're challenging. So, I mean, we're gonna have to expand this a little bit more so that you're not just challenging. I mean, it's a bit weird that you have to choose yourself as the challenger because you're the one initiating the call. Yeah, Schlep is what most people call me, or most English natives, let's say. So if we'll take the example of CoreDesk. Let's go here. No, it's not here. It's in the UI. Oh no, a mosquito. Fuck my life. Basically, CoreDesk is saying to have our URL. Oh wait, we can do that in main because here in route, parse route, we can say you need to have challenge. But what you're saying is it should be something like this. Player name, challenges, opponent, I think. So names won't work because names are not unique, I don't think. I mean, I don't want to make them unique. Because there can be one Scallop that's playing from, I don't know, when I was still playing Diabotical. From, I don't know, January 2018 until January 2019, for example, and then another Scallop can start playing after that, let's say. So it's more important that the IDs are unique, of course. So this would rather be player ID and an opponent ID, but this doesn't really make sense to see, I think, because it sort of belongs to who is logged in. We already know that. So that leaves us with this. And then we can do challenges, and maybe it should be like that, or challenge opponent and then the ID, for example, or something like that. But I think challenge and then the opponent ID is the most concise and still understandable enough, I think. And now I really forget how to do that. You do map 2, and at first it's challenge, ne? Fuck, I don't remember. Yeah. So it's S, yeah. Then challenge, sure. Then it's the slash. Import, and then it's an identifier for the ID. Goddamn fucking mosquitoes and goddamn. UX suffers. Ah, yeah. Yeah, this is true, but I mean, I don't want, how do you say that? I don't want people to modify the URL themselves. I just want them to click on something, then UX doesn't really suffer. But you're right. It just means more work for me, eh? Well, it's I don't see it as a, so you said, haha, I'm not doing nothing but coming back every few weeks to whine about UX and make your coding life a mess. You're the only one giving me options, let's say. Otherwise I need to come up with these things myself, and it's really difficult. But yeah, so I don't want to do that. It needs to be an integer. That seems bad. I want a player ID here. And a player ID can be a main alias. I think we should put them on top. What the fuck is this? This is not to do MVC anymore. Type route. It should belong there somewhere, I guess. It's a bit weird. Type alias. Player ID. It's a string, yeah. I think there is a way to make that not. How do you say that? Oh, wait, no, I'm incorrect. You need you can parse it into an exact thing. But yeah, I forget how it works in echt. So these are parsers, I think. And I don't remember what those things are. Mop value A into a parser for A and B. What the fuck, Bainling thing? I don't know. Allez, again. So map, where's map? Somewhere. Map takes a parser A and B, and then a second one. And the first A you get is challenge. So now we need something to map this to a challenge, right? Fuck my life, yeah. I wonder why the... Oh yeah, okay. I'm starting to remember now. So every time you add this slash, you add like an argument here. And here is how you would do for... Yeah, so we need a player ID parser, I guess. But it's just a string, no? Fucking hell. Okay, so I guess we can do string here. Nee? No. Nee, you need to come... Okay, that's the thing that's wrong, probably. We need like another parser.s there. Or no. Nope. So we need the string parser here, that's it. Yeah, okay. Okay. Holy crap. I don't think that's it. clustering, and this is the one. Oh yeah, and then parse, challenge doesn't have an ID, so now it needs a player ID, and then it does work. Okay, thank God. Let's get up, read up on chat. I do hope I can contribute to this project a little bit in the near future. My new job is amazing, nice, and I'm slowly shifting away from the old job mindset of fast and shitty and learning to do stuff clean and neatly. Starting to fall in a love layer with code. That's really cool. Great to hear. There's also this, it's a wrong idea that fast and with good quality doesn't exist. Uncle Bob has like this really great mantra, and he says the only way to go fast is to go well. So he basically is saying if you're not building in quality, then you won't be able to go fast, in fact. Yeah, Uncle Bob is really... His ideas are really great. I mean, it's been advantageous for the crafters community. Ah, nice. Through Factorio. Love it. Yeah, that's like a very well-known quote. But yeah, so we've got a way to parse challenge routes now with by including the player ID here. That's what we're doing. So in fact, it's more clear. It should be the opponent ID, in fact. Opponent ID. And then wherever we are using the challenge, now that's right here. Opponent ID. Yeah, fuck him. Because this, of course, takes the current challenge model, which we've initialized with an empty opponent or something. Maybe we need to change this view challenge by also adding the opponent ID. That's gonna make the most sense to me, at least. So we'll do like this, and we'll add it to the beginning, in fact. So now it's a bit strange because our opponent ID is outside of the model, but it makes more sense to me that way. So we want a player ID, a model, and then I'll do opponent ID and model. And now all of a sudden we've got the opponent ID out of the, what's it called? And it's good, in fact, because it's impossible to change. Yeah, but yeah, it's not that it's impossible to change that it shouldn't live in your model, of course. Because in the next update loop, we will lose this information, in fact. Yeah, in that case, it'll be better to update it. That's really sucky. Let's call it challenge model. Let's write a let. Challenge model equals this thing. That's how it was before, and I'll do that. We'll change this to not have player ID anymore. And the other way I could do here is to fire a message saying that the opponent ID has changed. But I don't want that. Do I? I don't think I want that. Bitch mosquito. Got her. Okay, then let's update this and say I want the opponent. So now I guess what I want is ID to be equal to opponent ID and the nickname. No, that's it basically. And you cannot do that, I guess. So maybe it should be like this in fact, and then the nickname will add later. So, and then fix something here. Oh yeah, so initially there is no opponent ID, there's also no opponent nickname. Okay. Indeed, that doesn't exist yet, so here we really need the opponent nickname. And then get rid of that. Voila. That should be it. But it needs to be like a maybe type, I think, this part, because it can be null at some point. You can destructure the opponent in the let before. Yeah, but then, yeah, that's not really a fun way to do that. You can also get around that if you chain setters. It makes it a bit more readable, but it's still the bigger problem that we don't really need, or the fact that opponent ID and opponent nickname are two separate things. They belong together because they should never, they say that they should never change one from the other. So when nickname changes, ID should change or be reset, but that never should happen. And then if ID changes, then for sure opponent nickname needs to change. And that we're going to write now, because the only way you should be able to do that is by going here where we've got this view function, so view main content. So if we know that we are going to render opponent ID, really what I should do here is, instead of returning a view, I guess, I feel like there needs to be a way to hook into the routing model, like even before you get into this view stuff, because I want to sort of only render this page when you have an opponent ID or something like that, you know, and you were able to find the opponent. I think I did, because it's compiling. So we split up opponent ID and nickname, and nickname was only being used here in view challenge, where we're just, you know, showing their name in the let's set you up versus blah blah blah. But here we are setting the opponent ID, and really what I want to do, maybe I can fire a task instead of or something. Can you do that in the parser maybe? Route. We do parse URL, which is gonna return a route and parse URL. We do here to really just map the URL to a route. And in it, I don't think we will hit anymore, because challenge needs to be like a in fact, let's look at how we navigate to registration. Because maybe we should do that navigation there, like only go to challenge when we're able to find the ID or something. I don't know yet. Should be in the message. Registration redirect button clicked. Oh yeah, there's no actual direct routing happening anymore. So it's somewhere in the got random bytes, I think. Don't really remember. Or maybe in the I don't remember, yeah. Got user info. Exchange the token for a cookie, and then we say perform fetch registered player info. And this will route to known player home. And do nothing basically. No, that's bad. Okay. I think we can for sure solve it the moment we encounter it, I think. So now our opponent ID is being set the moment that we parse the route, because we bind it to that route. But our opponent ID is not being fetched. No, wait, we set the ID, but the name is not being fetched. That's it. Parse route thing. I was just looking at this because maybe if we've got like a command thing here at that point where parse URL is used. Here you can see we've got parse URL, and empty model is being called from both of these spots. So either you have no token or you have a token, and this is called over here where we so now basically what we need to say is, after you've successfully parsed the URL, it might return with some commands you want to execute as well. So aside from these, empty model with token should not just return an empty model, but because the parsing of the URL happens there as well, it should also come back with some commands. So that's the thing we should do here, I guess. That's difficult, fucking hell. No. Anyway, another thing we could do is we could fire an init view challenge. Can we do that? because we're in the rendering. I'm not sure if you can do that. It's already too late there. Oh, am I... parse again. I don't think there's another solution, in fact. Difficult, huh? Sleepy time! Ah, okay. Well, if you decide to doze off, have a good night's rest. Talk to you soon. Ha ha. Yeah, we're really in the view thing here. This should have all the information necessary already, I guess. Oh, that's difficult. So now I can't just... Well, actually, no. View main content. This challenge thing should already have an opponent ID. Maybe we cannot just parse it, but also just immediately get it or something, or enrich it. I don't know. Oh, this is really, really difficult. I guess the other thing we could question ourselves is, should this URL be really be something that a user can just copy paste into a new browser? That's maybe like the bigger question here. Oh, it's difficult. So really it's like, can this be triggered only with internal requests, or do we also have external requests? We could just have a challenge page like we had before that you just get redirected to when you click on a person to challenge them or something. And then you enter this page, but the page already knows, because of internal state, who it is you want to challenge. because we will have fetched their nickname, etc., and their ID beforehand. Now, like the moment you click on the button, we'll do a fetch of who actually do we want to challenge. Set that state up in the model, redirect to the actual challenge page, and then just show stuff. But then, how do you say that? Like, it will always be outer components that are responsible for setting up the initial state of a page, and that just feels off. I don't know if that's correct. We sort of have the same thing now, and because at the moment you visit home or a registration, the empty model will be called, but the empty model lives in the submodule. So for example, we'll have a home has an empty model, and registration. Registration also has an empty model, and both homes and registrations empty models get used in main when they first empty model. When we first initialize it. So we're trying to set up a new empty model. The moment you init on the Elm page, and we just use homes empty model, registrations empty model, and in this case also challenges empty model to set up the initial model basically for all of them. But I guess it's depending on the URL that we parse. We should set up a better empty model for a challenge, for example, and the only way you can do that, I don't even think you can do that from here. You cannot say like I require my page that I'm going to be routed to, which we already know from this URL, needs a different initialization setup. Because the place where we are calling these, we do have a command. I guess maybe the first thing we need to do here is the moment we make this, depending on here we know the URL you're going to get routed to eventually, and we do get user info, we clear the URL, and then here maybe instead of fetch leaderboard we should say initialize URL or something, and then this initialize URL can that's it, I think. Okay, holy fuck. Can do instead fetch leaderboard. That's a command where we map that thing. Oh, fuck. Oh man. Yeah, I'm still going at it because I feel like I've almost reached a way to transform or solve like a big issue that we are having now, because we cannot relate the URL to an initialization of HTTP calls that needs to happen before you actually call the URL. And I feel like I'm nearly out of it. Because what I just realized is when we're in here and you've successfully authenticated. And we are using, checking if we are already logged in, I guess. But that I already forgot how that works, in fact. What was I saying here? Yeah, so we first do this, then we'll get the model. Maybe let's just try to write it a bit. Okay, now you're doing your complete template. Oh, fucking hell. Model. It should equal to this. So we will always first initialize the model, but then this stuff. Okay, we've got a bunch of defaults that need to happen, like this one, and then probably not this one, because this should only happen if you're on the home page, basically. And we can translate this into the command to fetch the leaderboard. So maybe this could be init page cmd, and then init page cmd. We'll do like that. It should be compiling. And now instead of just doing this fixed always, what we should do in fact is check models array. Route, I think it is. So case route of, let's do the default, we'll return fetch leaderboard. Record does not have field. This is gonna return a model though. Right? Oh, it should be current route. Okay, oh, my bad. Jung. Current route. Yeah. So default do that, and then if we know that it's the challenge blah, which I don't care what kind of ID we have. Oh, we do care in fact. Opponent ID. Then we can call challenge init page with opponent ID as a command, and then this can become a command. So much like this thing looks like. Okay, hang on, maybe. So it's gonna be a challenge message with that stuff. And then in it, we'll need to do this one. So let's move to challenge. Nope, the page challenge, yeah. And just quickly jot it down there. This thing is taking a player ID, I think. Come on, IntelliJ, you're not helping. First time you're seeing Elm. Okay, I will try to give you a primer on Elm after I can make sense of this. is gonna return CMD of my message things. I think that should make it compile, in fact. Oh. Ah yeah, my bad. It looks like that. Then this is not exposed yet. Nope. Let's go to challenge and then expose. Wait, we are exposing that in fact. Oh yeah, it doesn't. Opponent ID. And then for now, let's do this. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I think this is it, because now we can move the initialization logic to the page itself and do quote unquote encapsulation. So this is a very loose term, please. It's encapsulation, quote unquote. We've kept the default, so only if we already know that we're at the challenge page, then we will initialize it, and this thing is going to make sure that the challenge model has an opponent nickname. That's it. Holy fuck. So basically here we should, much like we're doing with fetch leaderboard, is do this. So really our init page should be an HTTP GET of not the leaderboard but of the player with then some bullshit that we haven't written yet. Or have we? Did I write that already somewhere? Nope. Oh, I think I should have written that somewhere already, no? Oh. I think this is it. Yeah. I'm just gonna copy this. Yeah, the problem with that code is that it's which file am I? It's not where I want it to be. Get rid of that. Here. It has to deal with multiple players, in fact, but I mean, I don't want to use this. Fuck. I really need to duplicate it. Sucks. Maybe we should pull like a registered player up somewhere, like move it to an API or something. Is IntelliJ able to do that? Yeah, probably not. But anyway, before I end, so I will leave it in this state, and at least I know what to do, I think. Maybe add a to do here or something. To do. Update the challenge model with the successfully fetched player or opponent nickname. This is it. Okay, I think that's it. All right, so how does Elm work? It's not that difficult, in fact, but the thing that what makes Elm difficult is it's a pure functional language. So you need to really understand how it's a different paradigm. So usually that takes the longest time to get used to. But it exists out of 3 different functions: a model, an update, and a view. So as a model is a full definition of the entire application's state. An update is a really like a function. So this is more like a structure. Update is a function that applies changes to the model, which then gets visualized in a new way. And view, or it gets passed to the view function, which then renders it. Basically, it uses your model to render that. So we can see that here as well. So our model, our main model of the main Elm page, exists out of nested models for all of the pages that we have. A route to do some orchestration. Key has something to do with the routing logic. A way to do authentication, basically how to redirect, and then a token. So all of this is authentication or authorization, basically. But yeah, so that's what our model looks like. There are also messages or message types, and again, here we've got, for all of the different pages, we've got wrapper types, basically, that redirect to or contain this more specific type. And then some stuff like a general button, like when you click on the registration button, that's something that might happen on the main page. Your URL might change, your link might be clicked, etc. We don't support trailing commas, no problem. Yeah, indeed. Yeah, they do support trailing commas, but it's so that when you define something in parentheses or in brackets, if you put your comma at the front of the line with a space, all of the things will always be aligned. It's very interesting, in fact. Like, I never saw it before, and before it was like, what the fuck? Why would they put a comma in front? But the moment you see this, or when I see this now, I get triggered. So I know that, okay, this is everything that belongs together, basically. So it takes some getting used to. This is what a function looks like, basically. So you say, I define a function called update, and this is its type. It looks a bit weird, but it takes in 2 arguments, basically, and it outputs this argument. So something in parentheses is a tuple. Kotlin has it as well. But the arrows is a bit more specific. If you're familiar with like functional terminology, here what they're doing, or what you can do, is you can use partial application. So you can for example define a function that turns a message into a model, and then combine that with something that calls the update function, so that you can then turn that message and then model into a model comma command message. It's a bit, it's pretty bad explained, honestly, but just understand, if you read the basically it's the first arguments are arguments and the last one is the output. It's the easiest way to remember. Yeah, curry functions, thank you, holy shit, yeah. Voila, so it supports currying that way. Voila. Switch case with exhaustive when expressions with very clear compiler messages when it's not right. Let in or like immediately executed lambda blocks, basically, so you can scope variable creation to something really close to what you just need. It's like a little helper thing, so that you can split up some calling of functions, aggregate the results together, and then pass that result to something new. Here there's also an example of destructuring, so you can do that, or destructuring assignment basically. So update is going to return two things, both a model and a command with a message. They both get destructured, which you can then use separately. But we had like a URL clicked. Where was that? Registration linked clicked. Where is? Ah, yeah, voila. So here we just call sign in requested using the model. So we know that the update function is going to change the model somehow. We change it to idle, and then we generate random bytes, which is a thing that we need to call a JavaScript part, a port, sorry. So somewhere in the index HTML there's a function, a JavaScript function that does gen random bytes, which generates some random bytes and then calls like a request or whatever. We like functional programming but haven't used a completely functional language. I think Elm is a great way to start with because it does not have a lot of extra stuff you need to know. Like Haskell has like this kind of stuff for, I already forget. I think it's function composition or maybe Elm has that too, in fact. Haskell has this for sure. Like or that or this or this or etc, 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 and is expressing really complex monadic logic that is very difficult to comprehend if you don't know any functional languages. And Haskell doesn't even try to explain that stuff. It just assumes that you just need to know. It's part of the syntax. But so Elm does not have all of that stuff. You just need to use the most simple building blocks, and that makes it really easy to understand. And yeah, and the loop is really easy as well. There's a tricky part there as well. Like we saw just now, is like I was in the view part, but really I wanted to update the model, and that's you cannot do that straight from the view, from calling the view. So you need to find a way to hook in to updating the model really before you enter that view function. And that's what I found by just going back up the chain basically. Like, where do I have my model or my commands again? And that we found. So HTTP request, this thing returns a command, and because it does that, that's basically this one, the one you add to the expect record. So when this gets executed, this got fetch registered player info response with the correct argument basically will be thrown to your update function. So then when that request is complete, the got fetch registered player info response is thrown. And the way you handle that, we'll list here. And really here you need to deal with the response type, which can be it's a result type, so it can be either an error and then it has something. It can be either an OK and it has an empty list, for example. What do you want to do then? Or it can be an OK and you don't care anymore about the type. Then you just route to whatever, blah blah blah. So it's really not that difficult. And the tutorial is great, in fact. But I find so I'm not sure if that's a correct assessment, but I don't find the libraries and components to be very exhaustive. Like, you don't expect something like entire component libraries made in Elm. Those sadly do not exist. People just generally build them themselves because they all come up with their own frameworks or whatever. I don't know. I don't know why that is, or I just haven't looked at hard enough. That might also be a case. But there is a Elm tutorial. Nice. There we go. Yeah, just use this one. guide.elmlang.org. There is a package manager in the form of elm.json, and this is all how do you say, like, they use semantic versioning really seriously, let's say. And it checks for incompatibilities in between libraries that you use. I don't know the ins and out of it, but that's basically it. The moment you run elm make, I think, it will generate a bunch of files in your distribution directory or build directory, and it will just generate a JavaScript file which you can then just use wherever you want. And there are like two main ways to use Elm, I think. One is where you do page navigation completely inside of Elm, just like an actual single page application. But the Richard Feldman, which is like one of the main advocates, let's say, of Elm, he works for No Red Ink. He I think he advises it, or that's how they use it anyway, is they use sort of like server-side rendering to check which page, or to handle page navigation, and then per page they just load an Elm page every single time, so they don't get to deal with that annoying page initialization issue that I'm having right now. Because you can just inject something from your backend basically to have your Elm page. You just work with a port and then you're done. Which might be easier, in fact. You can also move authorization or authentication there, and have your UI not deal with that at all. I think that's like the way to go probably, but I don't know why I chose this. It seemed simple at first, probably. What else is there to say? Yeah, if you're done using or reading the Elm tutorial, a friend of mine called Jan Sabbe, he made a really cool repository in which you can make a game, or like it's a website where you get presented with house pets, and you can like or dislike, and then you do like a random matching or whatever. But it really shows you how much stuff you can do with Elm, and how nice it is if you really use the type system pretty well. And it's really fun as well. So, does this generate static JS? No, yeah, it's a static JS indeed. Yeah, there's no generated JavaScript at runtime. And then you can interact with any JavaScript using ports. So I already said maybe that like this is a good example here. So maybe here in the Elm part of that port, they've got send message and message receiver, and both of these just relate to text in JavaScript, so that's like the scary part here. But that's how you interact with JavaScript components themselves. So I don't think it's advisable to, I don't know, like use or reuse a React component through Elm ports. That's like not a great idea. And the coolest thing about Elm is that even your HTML is fully functional. So if we, maybe it'll be easier. Yeah, no, actually, if you look at our view function because it is still a function. Okay, I'm using an Elm UI, which is like a higher abstraction on Elm's main HTML stuff. But even that are also just functions and types, etc. Yeah, indeed. Yeah. So the moment you lose a type, so that's where Elm's real power lies, of course, is with the strong typing or strict typing. And you don't lose that if you really pay attention to it. So there's only one. It's in the ports where there's I/O. It's in the decoding stuff where you're decoding JSON into your types. And then when it goes out, it's like in the, not even the HTML, because even that is like quite safe. Yeah, just try to make sure that your model doesn't get updated from an outside source. That's it, basically. But so what I was saying is that even your view is just re-rendering your model or projecting your model into HTML. That's it. And okay, I'm using Elm UI here, but you can read it. We're rendering our model. It's used here. This is just like positioning, let's say, and some background stuff. We want to view a header, our main content, the registration redirect button, and a footer. If you click on the view content, you can read when you're currently on registration, then call registrations, view registration function with this model, etc., etc. And then you can easily go there, like the one I just made was view challenge, which of course doesn't work now, so maybe it's not a great idea to show that. But yeah, you can read it. Your view challenge model, it's the opponent nickname that's important there. We're rendering a mode, which is a type. So all of these four will get rendered somehow. So that's really cool, and you can refactor using functions, and that's really nice to have as a feature. All right, yeah. Let me know if you. Oh, we actually did this in fact. No, don't know. Yeah, that's Elm for you. It is a declarative UI, correct? Yeah, in the complete sense of the word, in fact. It's the how do you say that? It's more declarative than let's say React hooks would be, and because you're declaring your hook or your handler functions there as well, but the way you quote unquote bind them is by just having message types, and Elm or the compiler forces you to deal with them in your update function. Yeah, your endless list, probably put it at the top of your list to try out, huh? No. I mean, if you're able to convince your team to try this thing out, then yeah, that would be really cool. Let me know how you did it. Because usually people don't get they get scared by looking at this code and then being like, what the fuck? What does it even do? I'm too scared, I don't want to use it anymore. Go away. I'm not interested anymore. But yeah, you have to pay something for like true type safety, eh? So that's why you need to learn functional programming through Elm. Alright, let's think a bit what we did to conclude the stream. Then and then yeah, we'll do next week, or maybe, yeah, I'm not sure. Next week it should be the second Tuesday of the month, so I'm hosting the Leuven Lean Coffees again, but I'm not really sure if anyone's gonna show up. You'll see. Yeah, I'll keep you posted. Otherwise, you'll just see me streaming, and there's that. But today we started making the challenge page, which I'm unable to show you unless, let me commit this. And then we just revert this. Or allez. Because then I will be able to show what happened or what we did. Yeah, so this is what we made. So we've got some page where you can challenge people. There's a way to select the game mode. Then you can say next Thursday or whatever at 8. Bring new underwear because they will shit their pants. Add me on Discord, blah 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 blah. And then we haven't clicked on, or we haven't implemented clicking on challenge yet. We haven't implemented getting the list of currently pending challenges that you've already created. And the last thing that we were gonna do is add the person that we're challenging, in fact, our opponent. It should be listed here, and that's what we were doing earlier. That's it. By the way, also a really cool thing about Elm is because it's working in those small steps, you get debug information like this, like how many times did I click on the challenge button, but also what was the state of the model when that happened. So this makes it really nice to debug issues that your users might be having. So typically what you do is deploy your Elm app in developer mode on like an acceptance environment. You have your users test it. Then whenever something breaks, you tell them, well, you know, click on this button. Then in that pop-up, click on export, and there you go. Now you have like a full overview of whatever they clicked on, how they got into that state. You can replay it. You have like instant reproduction of the issue. It's really crazy. Like the fact that no one, or like this little people are using Elm is really insane to me, honestly. It's really amazing. Okay, I think that's it. Let's get rid of this one and do commit. And I think, yeah, we can just revert these. Remove. And now we should still be in a broken state, right? Yeah, okay, nice. Voila. Yeah, it's a lot like Redux, but I don't know who was first, Redux or Elm. Yeah, me too. I don't know. Anyway, I will see you all next time. Thank you so much. Yeah, you're welcome anytime. I'm pushing Elm on anyone that wants to listen. Later. Have a nice week. And then I'm also off. See you all next time. Thanks for joining the stream. And hopefully see you next week. Otherwise it might be on Sunday. We will see. We will see. I might record a special. Might not be on Sunday. Alright, see you next time. Deuces, see you.